Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again, the most embarrassing thing about the Acolyte series by Disney and Lucasfilm is the fact that they had an exclusive clip that aired after, of course, the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary re-release in theaters ended, and basically they didn't advertise about this, they did not really give fans a heads up about this, and even for those that knew about this after doing extensive research, really decided to bail out of the movie theater, preventing from actually witnessing the Acolyte clip, of course, featuring what we already saw somewhat in the previous trailers. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about the Acolyte series is that we know that this series in particular, by Lucasfilm, by Kathleen Kennedy, by Leslye Headland of all people, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. Yes, these are the types of people that Lucasfilm, especially Kathleen, decides to hire and really has no regret over doing that. Now, focusing on what's been going on here with everything revolving around Bob Iger's cost containment plan and the ongoing backlash related to both of their divisions like Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm, and how this all led to the cancellation of the Acolyte series behind closed doors for Season 2, and how Leslye Headland was indeed removed from various Marvel and Lucasfilm related projects. Let's get into it. Now, specifically, we already know that the cast basically attached to the Acolyte is not a saint at all in comparison to Leslye Headland. You know, basically we have people out there like Amandla Stenberg that stands by Leslie's side about everything that she's doing with the Acolyte series related to the ongoing agenda by Disney and how they are set to break George Lucas's philosophy. Now, with Lucasfilm actively going through numerous challenges due to the marketing campaign failure of the Acolyte, one major development now has much to do with actress Amandla Stenberg, of course, one of the main cast members of the Acolyte. Now, one shocking turn of events now is that already Amandla Stenberg is beginning to join the battle started by Leslye Headland after Bob Iger decided to make his ultimate decision to cancel the Acolyte Season 2 after they had reportedly signed a very complex contract with Lucasfilm. Now, where it stands right now is that Stenberg, who portrays one of the new villains in the series, is already creating drama behind the scenes against the Disney heads, where she is already beginning to blame the Walt Disney Company for canceling the Acolyte Season 2 based on race and gender, along with not properly representing many different communities, including the LGBTQI community, along with those that are considered non-binary. Now, the actress, who has in recent months created some form of trouble during the production, is already beginning to play the race card against Disney behind the scenes based on Iger's recent call to cancel the Acolyte Season 2 and to fire and remove director Leslye Headland from numerous Star Wars and Marvel projects. To make matters even worse, recently Amandla Stenberg delivered the following about the Acolyte after the cancellation of Season 2 behind the scenes, where she delivered, "As one who considers myself as non-binary, I think that many of these major studios in the film industry just don't get it many times. I mean, they want to support you, they try to support you, but they are willing to turn on you at any moment in time for profit. And that is just disingenuous to me. It's also an issue with the fans, because I see so many non-fans holding some type of issue with this series in particular that Leslye put together, and well, expanding that story is very bleak right now. I really can't go into details about what's been happening with the expansion of this series, but more often than not, studios tend to fall victim to noisy non-fans of a franchise as big, in this case, Star Wars, and it just interferes with what the creator wants to do. Fans need to chill out already. Star Wars is fiction and doesn't necessarily change lives for people. What Leslye is doing here is going to completely change the way Star Wars was handled by George Lucas, and how we are going to represent so many communities in this one is just thrilling. Now guys, before I move on about what Stenberg is spewing here, she's obviously alluding to what Leslye Headland confirmed just a little under 1 week ago, that basically she will be changing the meaning of balance of the Force, a major element in George Lucas's Star Wars. Now, we talked about this on Twitter/X a couple of days ago. A lot of you guys tuned in on your thoughts about that. Thank you so very much about that. But we have people like Amandla, Leslye, Kathleen Kennedy, and others associated with Lucasfilm that believe in all of this nonsense about breaking George Lucas's Star Wars, his vision, and how that's the way to go. The only thing that you're doing by doing that is that you're dividing the fandom, or whatever's left of the fandom at this point, further, alright? If you even want to call it a division at this point, I think it's more like, 80-20, and that's being very nice at this point in time with Star Wars. I think that a lot of people have already checked out, based on the Acolyte trailers alone. But moving on here, she goes on to conclude, it's just a shame that studio interference is a real thing and can result from loud, opinionated people that have no idea what on earth they are talking about. Leslye really went out of her way with this one to honor Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. We made a lot of connections there that I think fans will appreciate. It's about time the LGBTQ community gets attention, especially in Star Wars. I remember JJ, as in J.J. Abrams she's talking about, to do this with the last film, but Leslye really put it front and center with this one. I will always stand by Leslye, and to all the naysayers claiming that what we are doing is something driven by an agenda, I think you all really need to see what the world is actually at today and how it works. It's going to be a fantastic series, and it's a damn shame that non-fans can create such interference from the studios and where we go from here. So again, I mean, we already know that this is nothing different than what She-Hulk actress Tatiana Maslany has been spewing about her involvement with Marvel and how they ditched her for several factors. I mean, they all talk in a near similar way. Have you guys noticed this? They all talk very similar, they use the same words, they use it in the same way, and it's almost like it's all kind of just scripted for them, basically to get their point across. That really just goes nowhere. But focusing on this, we know that the Acolyte series is pretty much dead in the water to begin with. It's already going to break the rules and traditions of Star Wars. The fact that you have a director and showrunner that's looking up to Rian Johnson and inspired from Rian Johnson and used elements from his movie to insert into the Acolyte is already enough to check out of the series to begin with, and it's why there's a lot of backlash apart from their agenda, apart from Disney's DEI agenda, which is just complete nonsense and really doesn't go anywhere for anything, and only hurts many different, franchises and properties out there, / brands. So overall, I mean, we know that Amandla Stenberg is no different than Kathleen Kennedy, no different than Leslye Headland. She's right up there with that group of what they believe in, about what they believe Star Wars needs to become. And basically, we already heard about what Kathleen Kennedy said like 2 weeks ago, that basically their agenda now is all about obtaining new fans that are not connected to any George Lucas burdens, alright? Or any kind of burden, I should say, connected to George Lucas. Now, that's basically what Kathleen Kennedy alluded to. That's what she talked about how she wanted to break free from any kind of a burden connected to George's vision. So overall, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.